This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Friday. What's going on? We made it July 23rd. I'm Tori. I'm here with Lindsay and Brandon. And I just want to let everyone know we got new chairs.
And I don't know, because like my arms, it's like a chill. Should I lay back? Like, I don't know what to do.
Sitting on the scene with the gangster lean.
This is amazing.
Fancy over here, huh?
It really is for women. This is so much more comfortable, so we really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. All right. The Tokyo Games are officially underway, but it's a lot different than past years, and people don't seem as excited as usual. The opening ceremony was meant to unite and inspire people all over the world after a period of isolation due to COVID. And the Parade of Nations took place before an empty stadium. So even so, organizers tried to make the opening ceremonies exciting. They used more than 1,800 drones, to form a giant rotating Earth. But what really stood out inside the arena were some of the country's uniforms. So let's talk, all right? Team USA wore Ralph Lauren and Rock the Yacht Club look with their blazer and scarves. They always go kind of preppy.
That looks very USA-ish.
It's very preppy, yes. The Canadians, they just wore a simple red jacket. And poor Italy, some were saying Giorgio Armani's creation looks like Pac-Man ate the Italian flag, then got ill all over a white shirt. Only 950 people got to watch the opening ceremonies, and the Tokyo Games are being called the loneliest games ever. That doesn't need to be the name. No. With no spectators, athletes will be performing in front of almost 70,000 empty seats. Now, the opening ceremonies weren't a celebration for everyone, though. Hundreds of people gathered outside to protest the games, concerned that they will turn into a super spreader event since the pandemic is not over. More than 100 people at the games have already tested positive.
Let's go protest a super spreader event by super spreading. I don't get that. You're marching in the streets, you're right by each other. Just because you have a mask on doesn't mean that you're not going to give the disease or give the virus away. But here's where I am with this. Everyone, after the last year and a half, we've had to do some sort of hybrid system when it comes to our award shows. We've done that from home. The sporting events. We had the NBA championship last year in a bubble. Everyone's had to adapt. So by this time, if you're still protesting and you're upset about the Olympics, instead of trying to just take it for what it is and realizing this is the chance for 200 plus countries from around the world to compete to see who's the best. Now, for the athletes, who cares? You don't care that there's no one in the stands anymore. You are representing your country. So the fans need to take a step back, realize, yes, we are not out the pandemic yet, but we are trying to give you some sort of entertainment. We're still trying to unify or unite. So I think people need to chill when it comes to, you're just trying to find a reason to be outraged.
I understand that, but the entertainment factor could cost people's lives. So I understand why you'd protest, because the stakes are so high. I'm glad athletes are enjoying who's best at who. I'd rather see grandma at next Thanksgiving.
Tori, why we had the Super Bowl. 80-something thousand people out there.
I think they're protesting the way in which this was handled in Tokyo specifically. Lindsay, what do you think?
Yeah. I think that we could definitely have waited a year.
I know.
So for the Olympics?
May I? And I think that Bob Costas, who's been leading the Olympics coverage for NBC since 1988, agrees with that statement. He did a whole interview about that, about people haven't gotten vaccinated to the degree that we need them to. We're putting people in danger. And I think it's important that if we would have just pushed this a year, I don't think these athletes, you being an amazing athlete, would lose all of their stamina and all of their ability to compete in one more year. And we could have gotten to a place where people are more comfortable getting the vaccine, because I disagree with Tori that it should be mandated right now. I think we should go through more stages where pregnant women and people with different pre-existing conditions have been tested enough that it's okay.
I do accept medical exceptions to my mandate. I want to make sure people know that, because people have been tweeting me. I absolutely think there should be medical exceptions.
Right, and so I think in another year, if we got this far in 1 year, then next year we will be working wonders, and we can have an Olympics that we can actually enjoy the opening ceremony with dances and pageantry and not a globe glowing up in the air like a nightlight.
Y'all are thinking too much of the fandom of it. It's about the competition aspect.
But it's also about people's lives.
But you understand, these athletes are getting tested on a daily basis. My work with the New York Giants last year, when I was shooting remotely from New Jersey, for me to even walk into the facility, I did 3 PCR tests.
I tested already on the plane and had to stop.
And a lot of NFL players did get COVID, so let's not ignore that big fact.
I understand that, but it's not like we're working at your daily day job.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, all right, let's move on. I want to hear about this because we got more Olympics talking, all right? Some of this year's competing athletes defy age norms. Australian equestrian, great word, by the way, and grandmother Mary Hannah is proving that age is just a number. She's 66. And this is her 7th time participating in the games. I
like her outfit.
Nice. Everything about that is very cool. But get this, this is the youngest person competing in Tokyo. It's a Syrian table tennis player, Hend Zaza. She is 12 years old. 12? What were y'all doing at 12?
I think at both 66 and 12, like 66, I'm not even going to be able to, I barely can exercise.
Get on a horse.
Exactly. And then at 12, I definitely was just being an annoying kid.
Like, imagine being a prodigy at that sport. Was it table tennis? Was that it? I just want to make sure I get it right. Table tennis. Imagine being like that.
Are you good at table tennis?
I am awesome. I am not.
No,
I was like, what?
But I love the fact that like how much younger these athletes are getting, and in terms of like being the best in their field. Like we were talking about Coco Gauff. We were talking about like we were 16 and she beat Serena.
12
like,
seems young though, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, to be in the Olympics.
I thought there was like a cutoff.
No, I don't. Just
if
be the
I have
best.
dreams about my kid, I told you it's going to be like the science fair winner at 5, the TED Talk speaker at 7, the 12-year-old Olympian.
Lower your expectations, Lizzie.
Brandon's like, I would hate for you to be my mom.
Yeah, lower those. I just want to be someone who cheers at the Olympics. That's all I want. Before we go to break, we have to give a DBL shout out to Tonga's shirtless flag bearer. Remember this guy? Huh?
Oh, Photoshop.
Very oiled up. He carried the flag at the 2016 and the 2018 games. And Al had some opinions about this guy. Take a look.
Now, Jeff, I did some research. His name is Pita Tatatafua, which means sorry about your sheets, bro. The last time I saw that much oil on a mammal, Exxon was involved. Think about it.
Remember those segments? I love those segments.
Can we bring those back? I don't think I was here for that.
So good.
Al sounds off.
Al sounds off. They were great.
You smell a little jealousy in there?
No, yes, actually.
I think for us all, like that's a full 8-pack.
That's like, you can clearly see
you can
the
wash
definition.
clothes on that
I don't want to bring up the double standard.
Oh, don't
we
do
can
this.
gawk over a man shirtless, but if a woman was shirtless and I said something, I'd get in trouble. I'd be canceled.
No, we see Kim Kardashian and J-Lo all the time, and we say, oh, looking beautiful at this age.
But I will, and I
like
hate to be that person to bring us to Bummertown right before commercial. I agree, there is a double standard. Wow. I should hold myself accountable to be better.
Oh, get the violin. This is not the segment for that, okay?
Easy. Coming up on DBL, the William Shatner. Can you believe he's 90 and definitely not slowing down? We've got the scoop on his brand new show. And yes, Kanye West launched his new music, but there seems to be one problem. Fans can't find it. Where is it? Stay tuned.
Closed captioning provided by
What's up, guys? So, I'm someone that just really likes the Olympics. I watch a lot of figure skating, gymnastics. My mom and I watch.
Oh, it's not winter.
No, I know, but I'm not.
But that's my favorite.
But what's bumming me out is when I perform stand-up and Al performs stand-up, there's a difference in like the amount of people in the crowd. Okay, so when Al performs stand-up, there's like a raucous sound. Okay, and when I perform stand-up, there's like a like you can hear people eating nachos. That's what like this crowd felt like, that it's like so empty that it's sad.
But you were comparing apples to oranges, whereas as a stand-up comic, you feed off the crowd in that sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Your next
you don't
joke.
think they do?
It's when you're running track.
Come on, when they're screaming,
running
when they're
track
screaming.
and you're 8 lanes, you're in your lane 3.
Brandon, when your crowd is screaming and messing up,
you do
why did Giannis miss all those free throws?
He did not. He went 17 for 19 because he blocked out the crowd. That's the thing.
But it's because he was 17 for 19. So let's not talk about Giannis missing 3 free throws because he did not. Okay? 17 for 19.
I barked up the wrong tree, and I have no rebuttal because I don't know.
You're trained to block the fans.
Then why
out
do they call it
anyway.
the fifth man? You know, like, isn't it called
Because
the fifth man? The court, right? The crowd is the 5th guy in the court.
6th man or the 12th man if it's a football game.
I was off by 1.
You know, and you know, to be binary, the 12th person.
Very
we're
good,
gonna
Brandon.
do that. This is where we are.
Very
but
good,
you're
Brandon.
trained to block it out. You know what I'm so
Yeah, no, I hear
they're
you.
not there anyway.
And my sole purpose is to make them laugh in comedy, right?
Yeah, so it's different.
I'm just telling you, and it's an atmosphere and a vibe that's
I
never like.
understand it. I know what you mean, but when
just
you're
feels
running
weird.
track, who cares about the crowd? It's all about that 9.6 you need
Usain
to put
Bolt
up.
like feeds off of the crowd. Not that he won't.
You feed off of not getting beat.
What do you guys think? Welcome back to DBL. Kanye West held a bizarre listening party for his long-awaited album, Donda. Now, the album is named after Kanye's late mother, Donda West, who died in 2007. 42,000 fans paid between $20 and $100 to attend the party in Atlanta. It was also live streamed on Apple Music, but get this, Kanye showed up more than 2 hours late. He was wearing a full face mask. He didn't say anything to the crowd. He moved around the floor while his music played over the speakers. At one point, Kanye appeared to get emotional during his song Love Unconditionally, where he does rap about losing his family. His ex, Kim Kardashian, was also there along with their 4 kids. She posted this video from the event on Instagram. But here's the thing. All right, and I got a new chair back so I can do this to show you. His album's nowhere to be found on Apple Music, Spotify, or any other streaming platforms. What do we think about this? I think it's brilliant.
Just like you had to wait for him to show up 2 hours late, we may have to wait 2 weeks before he drops the album because
2
we're
weeks?
talking. I don't know. I was just
No, 2 weeks is out of line.
2 hours, 2
If you
weeks,
say
2 days.
tomorrow, fine.
Like,
2 weeks.
It's Kanye West. It's Yeezy. The man just showed he can do whatever he wants. The man came out and said slavery was a choice.
Yeah, that
wasn't doing. No, everybody was.
Okay, and everybody wanted to cancel him, but he just had 42,000 fans with the Atlanta Falcons play. We're not talking about a hole in the wall, like juke joint down the block. Like, the man is still, he's powerful. He's the Michael Jackson of our time.
He definitely is.
Careful with Michael Jackson. We also have
I'm just
issues
talking
there.
about the star
No,
power
I hear you. I'm just worried because at some point, some people did want to cancel Kanye. Is he canceled? Is he not? And is this marketing strategy just not like the coolest?
That's right. I want to talk about his marketing strategy.
Right?
Because he had Sha'Carri Richardson in the ad collaboration with Nike and Apple
Beats.
Music.
Yep.
So Sha'Carri, that she had the weed issue, but she lost her biological mother. Kanye lost his mother.
Donda, right,
And his whole album is named Donda. It's like, everything about this album seems like intentional. And the fact that he started sobbing on the floor, crying about losing his family, it seems very dramatic also. So I think we're going to get a dramatic album. Also, he had a relationship that was very strained with Jay-Z for a while. And Jay-Z's actually on the album.
Yes,
and so
he
if there's a better, I don't know a better marketing strategy. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, release this thing. What did Jay-Z say? Because it seems like Jay-Z also is not a person that holds many bars.
That's right.
Literally. So,
I can't wait for this.
I'm excited about it. He doesn't have 2 weeks in my mind. I'm over it in 2 weeks. He has 2 days.
But how about Kim Kardashian showing up? That was big. That's awesome.
But
I love her.
at the end of the day, it's still your family.
I know, but not for everybody. Like, good for them.
And we've always said, like, the Kardashians, they'll support
stick.
that ex. They stick around. Look, Khloe was there for Lamar and his bedside. Like, at least that's what it looks like.
I agree with you, Brandon.
With the image. So crying that your family was there, there's a lot.
I also think that Kim Kardashian and the whole family wants to be at the biggest event of the year. Let's just call a spade a spade also. That was the biggest event, one of the biggest events of the year for music.
Yes.
So.
But it made a statement that she was there, I believe.
Yes, I want to be seen. I'm matching Kanye. We're both wearing red.
All right, easy. All right. Coming up on DBL, legendary actor William Shatner. This special Chatting with the Stars is coming up, and it's very cool.
Increases in COVID cases and hospitalizations has some health experts calling for the return of face masks. So will the CDC change its message on masks? Let's connect the dots. Back in May, vaccination rates were high and case counts were low. The Center for Disease Control declared it was safe for fully vaccinated people to toss their masks in most settings. We all know what happened next. Vaccine rates slowed down and the Delta variant hit hard. Health experts say the CDC decision was backed up by science, but unfortunately not human behavior. That led to unvaccinated and unmasked individuals fueling the spread of the contagious Delta variant. Now, White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci says fully vaccinated people might want to consider putting the mask back on. While the vaccines are effective, they don't offer 100% protection. Dr. Fauci says if the vaccinated want added protection, they can wear a mask indoors, especially in crowded places. Despite that new recommendation, experts say it's unlikely there will be a nationwide mask mandate because the pushback would be extreme. Instead, with 99.5% of all U.S. COVID deaths now being unvaccinated people, the focus will be on more people getting the shot.
Rob is so graceful. All right, welcome back to DBL. At 90 years old, you heard me right, William Shatner is nowhere near slowing down. He's digging deep into life's most fascinating and unanswered questions. It's all part of his new show, I Don't Understand. Earlier, we spoke with him about it in today's Chatting with the Stars.
What constitutes a lie? If I tell you I'm fine when I'm not, is that a lie? Is there a way to detect deception? I'm William Shatner, and I don't understand.
All right, you just heard a sneak peek of the legendary William Shatner and his brand new show, I Don't Understand. Thank you so much for coming on DBL.
Yes, we do.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure it is to look at all of you.
Yes.
But mostly me. I'm a beautiful man.
You're all beautiful in your way.
Thank you. Yes, we feel seen and heard by you. Okay, so William, we love the concept of your new show. You're trying to answer
Isn't it wild?
It is. It's great to because we can play along with you, right? You're trying to answer the most fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And timely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially because these are timely questions that pique everyone's interest.
Anything I don't understand, like, for example, how is it possible that you're 40? I don't understand.
Yes.
Brownie points for Shatner.
He did the shoulder reflex.
I like it. Tell us a little bit more about the show. So for our viewers right now that have not heard about it.
Well, I mean, that's it. The idea of the show is things I don't understand.
You're talking to the right guy.
Why they don't? Why are you wearing a red handkerchief in your breast pocket?
It's pink.
It's pink.
It's pink. And it goes with my lavender shirt.
William, please tell us what you're thinking, because they criticize my outfits all the time, William. So why did you ask just that?
No, you don't understand. I'm not criticizing.
Oh.
I'm asking the question.
I think he's being complimentary, and he wants to wear that to his next event. Am I right?
Think so. Nope.
That's exactly right. I've never understood why how pink looks good on a man, and now I understand.
And now you understand.
Well, wait till you see Al. He's dripping in pink, and I love it. I say pink is punk.
Yeah, well, dripping, yeah.
See,
I
now
like it.
this is a good use of pink.
Thank you. I have the pink watch too.
Show him your pants.
Oh, yeah, stand up.
And the pink
Look at
pants.
this. He's going to Cape Cod to a boil, sir.
Yeah. All right. Little Heisman pose.
I don't understand that outfit.
Is there a question that you couldn't answer? Like you're like, I don't understand this, and there is no answer. Was there anything that was unanswerable?
Like this question.
Well, it's a conversation. It's a conversation with a so-called expert.
Okay.
Now, for example, one of the first shows, and I don't know the order they're in when they broadcast them, is about lying. I don't know how I came upon that, but why do we lie? So there was an expert on lying. She had a book out, and God would start speaking to her about lying, lies of omission, and then it evolved
I've hurt my shoulder
into is religion a lie? And all of a sudden we're talking about loss of faith. And do you see through a lie if you lose your faith and you say, wait a minute, I'm a choir boy and something, and was the loss of faith. And now you're into the big lie. And it's no longer just lies of omission, or I didn't say that, or I did say that. It's the big lie, the big omission.
It got deep.
Why do we lie? It has all kinds of ramifications. So that's the nature of the show. You can ask a simple question, but if you follow the pathway of the conversation, it suddenly branches off, and suddenly you're on a cliff, looking over unquestionable masses. You're on the edge of a thing. It's, where do I go next with this question? And it becomes an adventure.
William, I'm sitting here and I'm realizing why you are the perfect person to host this show. We live in an era where everything is, there's a ton of interview shows, there's a ton of question and answer shows, but every time an interviewer asks a question, a lot of times it seems like they have an agenda. You seem to ask questions with a genuine curiosity, which is very disarming, and I think viewers are going to love that.
That's a very insightful comment, in that's exactly right. I'm only asking questions of people and elements that I don't understand. I really have a genuine curiosity about. I'm talking to people that I think are exciting. I'm talking, and it's not an interview per se. It's a conversation. Like, what did you do, and how did you feel, and what did you... I don't understand and would love to discover.
Well said by Captain Kirk, huh?
I know. Right. I can't wait. I don't understand how he's 90. You look fantastic.
Yeah.
You can watch William Shatner's new show, I Don't Understand. It's out now on portable TV. William, thank you so much. Real quickly, is this the best interview that you've ever...
He's a joy.
Hands down, best interview?
It's because they're wearing pink.
Bye, William. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Qualified from an Olympic event because of natural testosterone levels? Namibia's Olympic Committee announced 2 of its top female runners won't be allowed to run in the 400-meter race. One of those runners, Christine Mboma, has the fastest 400-meter time in the world so far this year. So let's verify. Can a person be disqualified from an Olympic event because of their natural testosterone levels? Our sources are World Athletics and Namibia's Olympic Committee. In 2018, World Athletics, the governing body that oversees international track and field competitions, lowered the threshold for an acceptable level of natural testosterone for women. The rule only applies to races between 400 meters and 1 mile. World Athletics says the rule is about, quote, leveling the playing field to ensure fair and meaningful competition, end quote. Although the 2 Namibian runners can't run in the 400-meter race, they also qualified for the 200-meter sprint. And because the testosterone rule doesn't apply to shorter races, they'll be allowed to compete. So we can verify, yes, a person can be disqualified from some Olympic events because of their natural testosterone levels. With your Fast Facts, I'm Ariante Till.
Verify exists to get you the facts, and there's no shortage of confusion when it comes to vaccines. So let's verify this viewer question. If scientists were able to create effective COVID-19 vaccines so quickly, can we create one for the common cold? Our sources are Dr. Linda Naba, an infectious diseases expert from the University of Pittsburgh, and the CDC. Right off the bat, our experts say this is false. Scientists won't be able to create a vaccine for the common cold, and one reason is that targeting the right virus can be difficult.
There isn't one particular virus or bacteria, one particular infectious disease particle that causes the common cold. It's really caused by an umbrella of different viruses.
The COVID-19 vaccine targets a specific virus, SARS-CoV-2. According to Dr. Naba, another reason is the common cold just isn't that deadly, which means researchers are less likely to dedicate time and resources to preventing it. With your Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back to DBL. There's a hidden heart problem that's claiming the lives of men, and it's happening at an alarming rate.
Oh, no.
We're chatting about it in DBL's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. We all know if you want a healthy heart, you need to work out. Well, according to Men's Health, atrial fibrillation, you might have heard it as AFib, right, is killing more Americans than ever before. So if you don't know what it is, it's a heart rhythm disorder that increases your risk of having a stroke or a heart attack. And statistically, the numbers are higher among black men. So what can be done about the silent killer? Of course, always check in with your doctor, eat a heart-healthy diet, and exercise, exercise, exercise. Staying active is so important, and QB has made it easy regardless of your ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-782-2351 or visit QB.com to learn more. If y'all didn't know, recently a soccer player went into full cardiac arrest on the pitch, and they ran over, and because there was an AFib machine there, they gave CPR, he's alive. And it's an incredible thing. So if you don't have an AFib machine in your office, advocate to get one.
A lot of people do. A lot of companies and businesses, it's standard, but I think we just walk by it because we never really have to use it. I don't think people really understand what that machine does.
Yeah, get to know it, get to know where it is, because it can save a life. We hope you have a great weekend. Be safe. DBL is new every day. We will see you Monday, same time, same place, Linz?
Same place.
Same place, people. Have a great weekend. Bye.